Hello, my dear Libras. This is your reading for the week of May 26th, or whenever you hear this and it resonates. So two things came to mind as I was starting to do this reading. And the first one was a picture of you in a playground on a seesaw, on a teeter-totter. And I'll start with that because what I was getting with that was really quite specific. You know how when you're on a teeter-totter, when you land on the ground, you bend your knees so that the seesaw, your end of the seesaw hits the ground, and then you straighten your legs, you push the teeter-totter up, and the other side goes down. But you also know that sometimes people can do it in a way where it actually forces it. It's not a nice, gentle, easy glide up and down. They can do it so hard as a way to kind of force you down, and then your side hits and you go boom, like that. The image that I'm getting with this seesaw and the feeling that I'm getting with this seesaw and what Spirit is actually saying really, really clearly is you have the option, you have the ability, you have built the inner strength to be able to stop anybody from forcing you into those bumps. That all you need to do is to be able to straighten your legs when your side of the seesaw is heading towards the ground, and you can stop it. So what does that mean? That means a couple of different things according to what they're telling me. So the cards that come up for this are interesting. And I think it goes very much with the song that I was hearing and the phrase that I was hearing from the song. What Spirit was saying was that sometimes the reason you have let people bump you on the teeter-totter is because you have been insecure about your worth, your value. There's been some quality of, I'm going to say shaming, because I think it's an emotion that many people have as children, whether or not it was ever deliberately intended, because I think that goes along with the way many children were raised, with guilt as the the guilt as the tool, the technique, the enforcement technique. But unfortunately, what that often gets transmuted to in a child is not that what you have done is bad or wrong, but that you are shameful, that you are wrong, and therefore shame comes into that, and it becomes a part of the identification as a kid. What Spirit has reminded me of, however, and this is really important, is that you have done so much work to build the energy in your body. Now, when I say to build the energy in your body, it is that awareness of the fact that now you have that golden energy up and down your spine. You have made enough connection to your higher conscious mind, to Spirit, and anchored that into your being, into your physical reality. That you don't have to let shame be the thing that collapses your legs. That now it's a matter of bringing it down into your legs, and that's what I'm seeing as being the next step for you in terms of really honoring the fact that that evolved part of you has established itself and is continuing to grow. And now the next step for you is to forget the shame. And you've got the other card too, can't and won't. Can't is the language of a child, won't is the language of an adult. So this is why I feel this goes back to some kind of, could be specific, but it could just be general training as a child that has created an insecurity in you about what your rights are, what your value is. And when you believe that you are valuable for who you are, just as you are, it's so much easier to stand up for yourself and have strength in your legs. What does it mean to have strength in your legs? It means you're solid, right? It means that you've got your feet planted on the earth, which is so good for a Libra, my air signs, you've got your feet planted on the earth now. And what Spirit is reminding you of in this is that you have got the access to that. And you have got, I'm going to speak now in an articulate manner. You have already worked to clear enough away that you have got access to that divine energy, to that higher energy, to that source energy that is running through your body, running through your nervous system and through your consciousness. Now, this image of the teeter-totter is saying, okay, now use that energy, bring that energy into your life. And when you feel like you're going to get bumped or when you're going to get thrown off the teeter-totter in some way, oh yeah, because sometimes the bump happens actually when the other side, lets the teeter-totter bump, and then you kind of jump off your seat at the top. Either way, it's somebody else controlling a situation that puts you out of balance. But as soon as you put your legs down and you ground that teeter-totter, nobody can do anything to you. You are solid. And nobody is going to keep going, making you go like this emotionally. And that's what I feel like they're telling. The can't, it's no longer an issue for you. The shame, it's no longer got the power over you. And it's not, thank you, it's not that you won't revisit it. It's not that the echo of those things won't be there, because very often they are. The difference is, Libra, what they're asking you to do is to remember that it's up to you to say no to the shame, because you understand the nature of where it came from now. It's up to you to say, I won't, or I will. And that you have the power to do that because you have touched into understanding the essential, powerful nature of who you are and what you have access to. Now, the other thing that was coming up for you was the song, was the song, The Circle Game. And I may have referenced this before once, I'm not sure, but it's really about the idea of being on a carousel. So again, it's that childhood thing and it's the ups and downs. But what the song is about is we're on the carousel of life. And I think that's what's really important here, is remembering that there is, there's the whole New Age metaphysical mind clench, I'll call it, instead of using the word I normally would, is that so very often what I've seen in the past and have experienced certainly in my early days of doing this, because it's been a long time, is that feeling that if things are not going smoothly, if there are any bumps in the road, that you must not be manifesting properly, or you're doing something wrong to attract this, whatever. The real point is life is going to have ups and downs. It's not that it's not going to. There are so many variables, so many other energies coming into your life and into the world around you, that there are going to be moments of chaos. There are going to be moments of disruption, whether it's in your personal life, in the world around you. It's going to happen. Number one, because other people's karma is involved. And number two, because whatever energies we've got that we're playing with, it's not a straight line. It's going to be something where we're going to keep being challenged according to what it is we need to learn. It's not about having failed. It's never going to be an absolutely smooth ride until, well, I was going to say until you pass over, but to be honest with you, I have no idea what it's like when you pass over. I suspect there's not the personal judgment against it because you're more in a state of loving nature, and therefore everything is a little smoother, but don't quote me on that because I don't really know. Again, childhood is coming up. Childhood prayers. Childhood prayers, how I like that. Childhood prayers is about doing everything in the feminine gender. And in this case, for me, what it feels like is it goes with the kindness card. Okay, so it's remembering in those moments when it is bumpy, where you do get off balance, when the carousel goes up and down in a way that is a little bit disorienting or upsetting. Remember to be kind about it. Be gentle. Be tender towards yourself in this. Instead of going into the old self-blame thing of, I'm not doing it right, what am I doing wrong, I thought I knew better, whatever those stories are. You're being told to really stand for yourself. Say yes to the good things. Say yes to yourself. Say yes to your power. Say yes to that identification that you have now with your spiritual self, with your higher self, even in those moments when you can't feel it or you're unsure about if you've been confusing yourself. Say yes to being a source of divine energy, that you are an expression of that. Say yes to that. And just trust that whether you feel it or not, however you frame it, that by deliberately choosing the yes instead of the no, the I won't instead of I can't, by choosing to lock into that power, that is where you are bringing in that deep, that high and deep spiritual energy and power into your life. And when that happens, it's true that there tend to be less ups and downs in general. You tend to create less drama because your mind isn't in it. But really what the power is even if the stuff's going on around you, you're not in sync with it. So you're less inclined to flow into it. You're more inclined to stand back. Energetically, you'll be less inclined to vibrate with it. Okay? So you might have those moments, and I think this is really important for you, Libra, because you are an air sign, and air signs, because it moves so quickly, you can be affected strongly by energy that's around you. So what's important for you to understand, my dear Libras, is that when you are in a state where you are feeling like you're getting discombobulated, where you're feeling like things are becoming, where you're kind of at the mercy of somebody else's energy, whether it's in their deliberate emotions or just your concern for them, this is where you think about, this is the suggestion, this is where you can think about the fact that's a frequency, and I have my own frequency. I can go to my inner frequency, which is calm, which is divine, which is strength, which is separate from that. I can choose not to let my energy move into that. I can choose not to let that be the tuning fork for my energy frequency. I can go to my internal tuning fork and stay there with that. And again, of course, it's a progressive lesson that we learn. It's part of what we're all doing. So what you're being told is do it big. Do it big. And when you find yourself getting triggered about stuff, it's always worthwhile to say, is this something that can teach me? That needs to be looked at? Or can I let go of it? Is this an echo of something old? Or is there something new to be looked at here? But if it's the same old story now, don't go into that frequency. Step away from it, okay? The old stuff, the old heavy stuff that tends to make a situation feel hopeless, like, am I ever going to get out of this? Am I ever going to change this pattern? It's usually triggering something old. But sometimes it's just habit because we've been in that a lot. So if you've been in that a lot, then that's where you go, oh, that's the old energy. It's not the truth. It's the energy. Now, can I switch it? What can I do to switch it if I want to switch it? Okay? Because if you can start thinking of this, whenever you get kind of discombobulated, if you can think of it in terms of energy, frequency, and tuning. Where do you want to tune in? What is your tuning fork going to be? Is it going to be somebody who's emotionally distraught, demanding, commanding, angry? Or is it a deeper part of you that is peaceful, or somebody else or something else that is peaceful? Because it can also be through reading, through listening to people who are offering a higher frequency, a higher frequency tuning fork for you. So that's something to really pay attention to, you. But Spirit is reminding you, you have the power to do it. You've already done so much of the work. And for those of you who are still feeling like you haven't quite tuned into that you haven't gotten that focus, it's equally important for you to hear this, that it's very easy for those of us who have struggled to be better, to make ourselves better, to feel like we're failures when the old echoes come up. And we need to remind ourselves that there have been energy patterns that have been put into play that have a certain kind of momentum. And that when that momentum is at play, it doesn't mean that we're generating it anymore. It means that it's just in motion because it's been active in our lives and in our minds before. It's like the image that one of my teachers said once, which is, the old pottery wheels. Once every time, if you think about it emotionally, every time you put your foot on the pedal, in terms of negative emotion, it keeps the wheel moving. It reinforces the wheel. Your job is, but you can take your foot off the pedal, that wheel is still going to have momentum. Your job is when that old momentum, until it wears down completely and stops, your job is not to go, oh, there it is again, and get angry, upset, frustrated, self-condemning, because that's putting your foot on the pedal and giving it even more energy. So take your foot off the pedal. That's basically it. And do it with intention. Do it with real intention, with deliberate engagement to shift it. Because you do have the power to do it. And that is really saying to you, let your past go. Let your childhood go. Let the things that were shameful, that were disappointing, that in any way dishonored or devalued you, go. Don't keep thinking about it. If it's something you have to unpack with a therapist, fine. But if it's just something that is habitual thought, you have more power than that. Okay, Libra? Take care.